Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I bring up a book to summarize for you all, titled, Driving Honda, Inside the World's Most Innovative Car Company. When it comes to Honda, everyone knows it. Honda is the second largest car manufacturer in Japan after Toyota, and when it comes to motorcycles and engines, needless to say, number one in the world. Honda sells more than 15 million motorcycles every year, followed by Yamaha, which sells more than 5 million units a year. Volkswagen Group, which includes Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, and Škoda, all of these brands combined, sells more than 10 million units a year. But what you don't know is that Honda is the youngest company among the 10 largest car manufacturers around the world. Honda is the company that comes in last, but stands at number 5 as the best-selling car brand in the world. Honda was founded in 1948 after the end of World War II, but the major car manufacturers that you all know were all founded before World War II, including Chrysler, Ford, General Motors of the United States, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen of Germany, and Toyota, Nissan, etc. All of them were founded before World War II. When it comes to World War II, it is about the loss and global catastrophe of humanity, but in the automotive industry, it is not as bad as you think. Car orders during World War II, research and development budgets, and government support made those companies more capital-intensive and high-tech, which actually made the industry flourish during the war. It can be said that if you want to enter the automotive industry, you should do it before World War II. Otherwise, you should not enter this industry because it is a blessing in disguise. But when it comes to Honda, since its inception, it has been able to stand firmly in the market and has never lost a single loss. Over the past 70 years, Honda has faced many storms, such as the Japanese government's ban on car production, the friction between Japan and the United States, and the arrival of the global economic crisis, which caused major companies such as Toyota and Volkswagen to lose money, but Honda has not been shaken. When it comes to Honda's operations, it can really surprise us. The 4 most irreplaceable Japanese CEOs in history include Panasonic's Konosuke Matsushita, Sony's Akio Morita, KDDI's Kazuo Inamori, and finally Soichiro Honda himself. What kind of strategy did Honda have and what decisions did they make that led them to this point today? Those who are wondering about this are not only us. The author of this book is Jeffrey Rothfader, a famous American investigator and journalist who has written many famous books. To write this book, he went to the Honda factory in the United States for a long time and found that Honda is not an ordinary company. Other car manufacturers usually choose big cities to open their factories, but Honda chose a remote area to be a factory with only 4,500 employees, and not many people know about it. The CEO of many large companies has a master's degree or MBA, but the CEO of Honda is an engineer. If there is a problem with the engine, the CEO rolls up his sleeves and repairs it immediately. When Honda first started, it dared to spend a lot of money to have its cars compete with top-speed cars such as Ferrari and McLaren in order to gain international recognition. Some car manufacturers buy engines and components from other companies by the hundreds of thousands to assemble, but Honda adheres to a principle, to create its own car engines. Looking at these points, we will see how Honda is different from other car manufacturers, and there are many things that we do not know. So in this book we get to know Honda better. First, we talk about the history of Honda, and then we introduce its 3 core principles. 1. History of Honda Car Company. Speaking of the history of Honda, one important person must be considered first: Soichiro Honda. He was a person who was crazy about technology and the search for new discoveries. According to his original words, he said, the first time he smelled gasoline and heard the sound of an engine, he already had a dream: to make cars. At the age of 16 he worked as a car mechanic, worked for 5 years, obtained 28 different patents related to car pistons, and he also began to supply piston ring technology to some large companies such as Toyota and Subaru, etc. In his lifetime, Soichiro Honda discovered 470 new discoveries and 150 patents. In 1980, Soichiro Honda received the Holly Award, being recognized as the second father of the car king, after Henry Ford. But when Honda first started, it was not smooth and luck was not so good. When he first started from a factory that made car pistons, this business not only started last, but also didn't last long, and was destroyed by a natural disaster. After Japan lost the war, the Japanese economy collapsed, the company lacked raw materials, making Honda unable to continue operating, and was forced to sell itself to Toyota, which is still in existence today. Honda only spent a few years until 1948, when by chance he collected radio scraps and processed them into engines for bicycles, so he started his second business, taking his own name as the name of the company and naming it Honda. From then on, Soichiro Honda began researching and creating many Honda motorcycles. A few years later he produced a powerful motorcycle to compete in the world-class Isle of Man TT motorcycle race, winning the #1 prize, which has been famous around the world since then. It was already 1960, and Honda was recognized for producing powerful motorcycles. Could they enter the car industry? Not yet, because at that time the Japanese government was planning to announce that no new companies would be allowed to be established in certain sectors determined by the government, including the car industry. Small companies would be closed or sold to large companies, leaving only large companies with deep capital. This was done in order to compete on the international stage. Initially, the Japanese government wanted to keep only 3 companies, but at that time there were many manufacturers of heavy-duty cars: Toyota, Nissan, Suzuki, Mitsubishi and Mazda, etc. According to this plan, all of those companies would be merged into 3 companies. Honda, which had not yet achieved any significant results, was not included in the list of mergers. Therefore, if Honda did not make an effort to make a name for itself in a short time, it was afraid that they would not be allowed to enter the table. Soichiro Honda believed that as long as my technology was good and had special features than my competitors, the remaining seats should belong to Honda. How can you show your ability on the international stage? Remember that Honda is an expert in car pistons. This time he wants to let the world know who Honda is. He has researched and created a car that will only race in Formula 1, the first Japanese car to be present on the international stage, standing alongside Ferrari and McLaren, which are all top racing cars with a history of hundreds of years. The first time the results were not good, but after going through the process again, Honda raised the Japanese flag on the international stage, making the world know that Honda is really strong. But later, the Japanese government's merger plan mentioned above was not approved by the higher-ups. This was not mentioned again, but it was one of the 1,000 accidents of Honda. Later, the United States and Japan began to compete in the automobile industry. The law strictly set the standards for carbon dioxide emissions from car exhausts. At that time, many large companies spent time negotiating and protesting with the government about those conditions, saying that the standards were too strict and no one could meet them. But Honda worked hard, working day and night to produce new cars that complied with the standards set. Honda's original words were, "When everyone has a problem that they can't solve, they invite 50 lawyers to negotiate how to win, but we invite 50 more engineers to think about how to make it work." One of the cars was called the Honda Civic Type R, which is a very fuel-efficient and environmentally friendly car. Over the past 40 years, more than 24 million units have been sold around the world, ranking 5th as the best-selling car. Speaking of this, you may already understand a little, even though Honda came behind and was not so lucky, but whenever they encountered a problem they always solved it. They relied on their #1 technology because technology is their belief. The choice of a location in a remote area without hustle and bustle to be a manufacturing plant is also because they want to develop their technology and not disturb others. Even Ferdinand Piëch, chairman of Volkswagen, said that apart from his Audi, the car he respects most is Honda. 2. Honda's 3 core principles. At this point the question is, what is the secret to Honda's technology and technology progressing so much? Is there anything special that makes it different from other companies? Of course there is. Here we talk about Honda's 3 core principles. The first principle is to embrace disagreement. The second principle is real places, real people, real stories. The third principle is that people are the most important. First principle, embrace disagreements. Let's talk about Honda's first principle, embrace disagreements. It's not hard to understand. I know that many companies can accept this point. Disagreements are normal, but Honda uses the word embrace, which is definitely unusual. It means not only accepting but also not just saying it. At Honda they welcome disagreements and this word is with them every day. Speaking of this, we must mention a special meeting at Honda, the Wagaya meeting. Wagaya in Japanese comes from the words YY plus Gaya Gaya. YY is a word used to describe a heated conversation or a blah 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 sound, and Gaya Gaya is a word used to describe chaotic activities in a chaotic situation. So Honda's Wagaya meeting refers to a tough meeting, heated disagreements, clashing ideas, breaking into sparks to emerge new ideas. This kind of meeting is very special. It is different from other meetings of large companies that have a set date, agenda, and clear purpose for the meeting. In this meeting, anyone can participate, regardless of their position, department, or cultural level. Small or big things can be discussed. A few people can meet during lunch, or they can use a meeting room to talk for 3 days or 4 nights. Honda supports this kind of culture. But in meetings, 3 principles must be respected: equality, problem-solving, and constructiveness. Here there is an important word: Equality, which means not choosing positions, not choosing sides. As long as there is a new idea, you can speak up and request a meeting. Even a newly hired engineer can object to the CEO's words. In Honda, this is normal. The second point is problem solving. Without arguments, through absolute practical experience, one cannot say that it is wrong or right. Only through discussion, debate, and clear experience can a decision be reached. We bring up the choice of Honda's engine cooling method. Previously, all cars used air to cool down the engine, including Honda, but because it was required to meet the requirements of the new generation of car engine technology, Honda also raised this issue to discuss again whether to use water or air to cool down. As a result, after intense debate and analysis through Wagon-style meetings, they chose water to cool down. The first car to compete in the Formula One arena and win the #1 title was a car that used water to cool down. The third point is that in a constructive sense, in order for the company to grow and be full of innovation, they do not argue about what is wrong or right. They only focus on one thing: how to do it. At Honda, there is nothing that they cannot do. Let's give an example. When Honda attacked the motorcycle market in the United States, you all know that the United States has a very large territory, ranking 4th in the largest territory after Russia, Canada, and China. The population density is low and people prefer to travel by car, so when it comes to motorcycles in the United States, the market is still very small. On the other hand, this market is already dominated by Harley motorcycles. It is too difficult for Honda to enter this market. Those who like to ride motorcycles are only police officers and a handful of motorcycle enthusiasts. However, if you are still wondering whether to enter the American market or not, the answer is definitely not. But Honda spends a lot of time thinking about how to enter the American market. To make sure that distributors and the American people agree to use the Japanese small-engine motorcycle. Their target customers are small families, teenagers, and newlyweds who need to ride around but not ride long distances like Harley motorcycles. In less than 5 years after entering the American market, Honda has already captured a 60% market share. This motorcycle is the motorcycle that everyone knows, the Honda Super Cub, which we all call the A-Cub motorcycle. It was very famous at that time, selling more than 100 million units around the world, making it the best-selling motorcycle brand in history. By now, we are probably familiar with Honda's Wagon meeting. This is a culture at Honda that values disagreements, and only when they are discussed can they spark new ideas. That is why many companies value Honda's first principle, which is to embrace disagreements. The second principle is real places, real people, real stories. Let's look at Honda's second principle: real place, real people, real things. In fact, this principle is not only used in Honda, it is the principle of all Japanese people. Even Toyota, Sony, Nikon, etc. all adhere to this principle. This principle says that before deciding something, you must go to a real place, meet real people, and talk about it clearly. Everything must be real and real. This point is very important, whether in a company or in relationships and daily life, you should adhere to this principle. Many things should not happen because we do not know the truth, but instead listen to what others say and make decisions. We may have played a game of sending gestures, never played it, or maybe we have seen someone play it. A group of people line up, have one person imitate a gesture and pass it on to the next person. As a result, the last person does not understand. This is the weakness of communicating and sending multiple messages. At Honda, they do not report to each other like this. When a problem occurs, the superiors go to the real place, meet real people, and investigate the real cause directly. Let's take the case of Honda's attack on the pickup truck market in the East America to talk about it. Pickup is a car from the half-barrel that you often see. Honda wants to produce this type of car for sale in the eastern United States. A team of engineers went to the scene to observe the habits of local people using cars. The car designer sat in a parking lot for 6 hours to observe, record, and analyze the activities of car users to put things in the car. It was observed that the users' difficulties when pushing things into the car were very painful. So they designed a type of car that could put things in the back, and it could also be opened from the side to push long things in easily. They also observed that some people like to use it to tow motorcycles, boats, or trailers because towing too heavy things would make the rear tow bar break easily, so Honda used a technique to make the bar stronger so that it would not break to tow two cars. On the other hand, they made the interior seats comfortable and functional, making this pickup model, in addition to carrying goods, also able to send children to school and take families for a walk. Americans like this type of car. This car is the Honda Ridgeline, which is still selling well in the United States. This is also another unique feature of Honda. Most large companies establish research centers at their headquarters in large cities, but Honda goes close to its target customers to understand exactly what their real needs are. Therefore, when entering a new market, wherever they go, they never lose. The third principle. Individuals are the greatest. Honda's third principle is to put the individual first. Almost all companies value teamwork spirit, and a team that can never be broken. But at Honda, each person is valued as an individual. They value the individual first, and think of the team second. All employees, including Mr. Honda, have their own name engraved on their shirts on the right chest, but not the company name, making all employees understand that here you are the first person. Think of yourself first and think of the company second. When recruiting employees, Honda does not require much experience. They want people who love the automotive industry and have creative ideas. These are the three principles that have made Honda thrive so far. They do not forget Honda's three happinesses: happiness in production, happiness in sales, and happiness for buyers. Creating high-quality products is one happiness, presenting perfect products to customers is another, and when customers buy them, they are satisfied and say that it is good, which is another happiness. It's like cooking for others to eat. We are happy to cook. No matter how much we do, no matter how long it takes, we don't get tired because we love it. When people come to taste the food we make with our own hands, we are also happy. And when they eat it and say it's delicious, it makes us even happier. Honda wants its people to have these three happinesses in themselves. The goal is for them to be full of creativity, recognition, and fun at work. Taking individuals as the main thing, each person has their own unique abilities and beauty. Honda is a large company, but it has endless creativity, not inferior to other technology companies because it has this kind of culture. Even if they come behind them, they can stand in the forefront with them, not without reason. Honda's operating principle is to always innovate, because innovation in new technologies is the soul of Honda. Honda himself said, "Copying from others is easy, difficult, and easy." It is said that Honda sells car engines and adds car body parts. This statement means that it highly values Honda's technology. The above are the main contents that I summarized from the book, Driving Honda, written by Jeffrey Rothfader. Let's make a quick reminder. First, let's talk about the history of the founding of Honda. It has a history of creating engines on wheels after World War II and later entered the field of manufacturing cars and motorcycles. Honda has three principles that make it stand out from other companies, which are also a scripture that can make it stand firm in the market until today. Every day they think about creating new things. Technology and innovation are in the genes of every engineer at Honda. At this point, we would also like to remind you that in business, you don't need to show how big you are, how successful you are, or what you can do. Being able to concentrate on doing what you do well is also a good choice. Like Honda, starting from a small factory with no resources, no capital, only a little technology, it can eventually become a big company. Standing firm, holding on, maintaining the culture and beliefs they have, I believe Honda can still be present in the market for hundreds of years without fading. Thank you all for listening. Congratulations, you have finished listening to another book.